Hi, this is Stephanie Sandefur, and it's been quite a few months since I've done a local interview, but my son this summer had the amazing experience to do a blacksmithing class, and today I have Jerry Gardner, who's the owner of the Blacksmith Experience in Daphne at the moment, and I would love for you to kind of figure out what he's all about, figure out what he has to offer our community, and moving forward, what he's going to expand his business to. So thank you so much for letting me come to meet you in your lovely, hot, humid workshop today. But I really have been trying to get in touch with you just to see if we could meet up and talk about everything that you have to offer, because I know that blacksmithing is a skill, but I also think it's an art. And I just kind of wanted to know what your background is, how you came up with this business. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So a little bit about myself is my background is construction management. That's the world I was from. And then about 20 years ago, I kind of got tired of that world. So I thought, you know what, let me try something new. I was introduced to blacksmithing, fell in love with it. So I did it full time from about 2003 to 2008. During that time, I was able to do a traditional apprenticeship under the guidance of a master blacksmith up in Pittsburgh by the name of Jim Hoffman. Learned how to do more colonial type ironwork. He specialized in doing reproduction like cannons, wagons for the National Park Service. So that was kind of my introduction to blacksmithing. I specialized when I was doing it full time more in like functional art, railings, gates, furniture. Did a lot of log home shows across the East Coast. Then 2008 hit, and business just kind of plummeted. Made some pretty bad business decisions that kind of caught up with me. And then my wife said, "Hey, you know what? We got kids on the way, and I'd really like to be able to eat those basic life functions." So I went back into the construction management world. Then a little over 10 years ago, we came down here with the management team working on the ThyssenKrupp project. So I was doing a lot of construction work, traveling, but my passion's always been the blacksmithing. So about 3 years ago, I asked my wife, I said, I'd really like to, once travel schedule settles down, try teaching. It seemed to be a pretty ripe environment. Things like the show Forge and Fire and just television really kind of created a little more of a piqued interest in it. And so about 3 years ago, opened up what I've got right now. It's called the Blacksmith Experience, and was teaching in the evenings and weekends. And then just a short while ago, actually about a month and a half ago, pulled the trigger on doing it full time and see where this journey takes me.
So you've only been doing this full time for the month and a half?
That's right. Yep.
Well, I will have to say Jerry's presence on the internet and on Facebook is what drew me to even, putting my son into this class. So I commend you for doing that in such a short time.
Oh, thanks.
So is your experience, because I'm gonna go backwards and move forward.
Sure.
Do you have any kind of connection with the military? Because you do have a service project.
Yes.
That is close to your heart.
Yes. Yeah. So my military service, I was in the Air Force active duty for about 4 years, and then I was in the Army National Guard for about 6 years, so a total about 10 years of service from roughly 1990 to 2000.
Thank you.
Sure. And then, the military's always been something it's been a special place in my heart for those who have served. And so several years ago, I had a gentleman by the name of Michael Bailey. He came and took a class. Before he took a class, he told me, he said, look, I was in Afghanistan and suffered a traumatic brain injury, and I probably have no more than a year to live, and so this is one of my bucket list items I've always wanted to do before I pass away. And so at the time, he was, I think, Michael was 41 or 42. So him and his wife, they came and took a class, and unfortunately, he never finished his class. His wife did. He was going back and forth to Johns Hopkins, receiving chemo treatments. But then his widow had invited me to his funeral, and at the funeral, she said several times just how much she appreciated the opportunity to be able to take class before he passed, as well as had pictures of him in the class, and so it was very moving. And so I realized that, hey, there's something here. Blacksmithing is not for everybody, but there's a way that I can kind of, try to do something to help serve those who have served. And so that was the genesis for what I call Forging a Difference, which is it's a nonprofit. We are a registered nonprofit that basically is using knife making, blacksmithing to serve not just the veteran community, but the active duty, law enforcement, first
That's
responder
great.
community. So yeah, very excited about that. And we're having a big kickoff event at the Battleship on December 4th. Currently, we've got 4 Forge and Fire. One is took second place. The other ones are all champions in their particular episodes, and so they'll be there. And then we're going to do a bunch of really cool demonstrations and working with the Battleship right now, and we even have an opportunity to actually be able to do a little forging one-on-one for like a special price to be able to kind of create some funds to be able to really get this nonprofit rolling. So.
Will you advertise this ahead of time? Because I know
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
a really busy time of the year, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are not going to want to miss that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely going to be doing a lot of advertising for that. So, yeah.
So my son really enjoyed this class, like I was saying, and
Yeah.
I brought his knife.
Cool.
I actually I made a little sheath for it. He didn't like it, so I brought it because it's very dangerous, actually. But this is so just unique. If you can see, it's a knife, and I don't know what the technique is that they use, so I was hoping, Jerry, that you could kind of explain how this week-long camp goes.
Yeah.
And what the name of this method is?
Method is.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a method that if you ever watched the show Forge and Fire, we use what's called 1080 steel. It's a high carbon steel. You have to have high carbon in order to be able to heat treat a steel. You have to be able to heat treat it, be able to hold an edge. So that blade is actually the same type of material that that you would find at a store. It's a great type of steel to learn on. And we walk through the entire process of forging the steel to all the different heat treatment, where if you are familiar with the show, they do the big fireballs, and when they put in the, basically it's a quench oil. We go through the tempering, we stick things in the oven, we get on the grinders, and so it's just start to finish exactly what it takes to make a real knife. So.
Do you find that the type of, you're going to have a lot of kids that come and take this class. You have a lot of age groups. I know your minimum age is 13 to take this class, but do you find kids that maybe struggle in other areas, they find their niche when they take your class?
Yeah. So just to clarify, your son actually took what we were just doing as a teen experience, and so that's. But generally, I even have kids younger than 13 actually come take the class, usually like with their parents or so.
Okay.
And so really I probably danced around your question a little bit, but the overall desire is this is more of an experience. I do have some that kind of get in here that really kind of take to it, that want to learn more, but it's intended to be for all ages. And I think there's a little bit of a misconception when I was advertising just for the teens, because people are like, do you teach for adults? I'm like, well, actually, that's most of my client, and it could be, like, what's really cool is, like, when I get, like, a grandson, a father, and a grandfather, 3 generations all kind of taking the class together, husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, or just, you name it, and it's all kind of different people. But as far as on the kid side of things, it is interesting, because I think sometimes, especially, being a parent myself, you're always trying to find that thing that your child is passionate about, where he kind of fits in, his niche. And so it does kind of provide a little bit of a different venue, different niche for kids that may not really be into sports. And one of the things that I keep hearing is, and it was really very cool with just the teen experience, is just some of the different confidence levels. And one child in particular really comes to mind. And just to see him, how that confidence grew in him, just within a couple of weeks, and his parents kept saying, hey, he's always kind of struggled to kind of find that little thing for him. And so it is that for some, certainly it's not for every kid. If it's just something like, hey, I don't really want to do that, it's probably not for you. But for some, it's like, wow, I wish I could do that. The reality is I structure everything so that I make it very accessible, so that someone with no experience can come in. I've had feedback from parents with kids with just different learning disabilities. It's very sensory driven, and so it's combining that teaching, we're drawing, sketching things out, but allows the child.
Very visual.
It's very visual, and hey, I'm touching something, I'm grabbing my tongs, so it's kind of putting those senses kind of together, not just in a traditional classroom where you're just looking at something and then writing something. You know, you're actually really engaged. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So it's
So Jerry offers a lot of classes throughout the year, which I'm learning more. I looked at his website quite a few times before, during, and after my son's camp, and I realized that there were different methods that you're doing for each camp. The one that we wanted to do, which we were able not to do it because of our timing, was there was a Scandinavian or Norwegian.
Oh, the Viking style
The
knife.
Viking
Yeah.
style knife. Tell me, because that looks different than the method
Yeah.
that we just did. So tell me about that method.
Yeah, well, it's every try to offer just different classes that and the reality is that especially with the teen camp, you know, if I was to say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to make a leaf and a nail and a flower, I'd have maybe one kid show up. But as soon as I offer something that has something that's pokey and sharp, you know,
Right.
then the level of interest, like, okay, I'll learn how to make a nail as long as I
Right.
get to learn how to make a knife. So,
Right.
so the Viking style knife is just without seeing, unfortunately, I don't have a picture of it, but it's just a little bit of a different style. Some of the different styles is I've got a railroad spike heating it, and then at the very end we acid etch it, and it creates these really dramatic patterns. So it's really cool.
Art.
Yeah.
That is really neat.
Yeah, so that's on the knife side. Then of course we
Okay.
have the regular stuff too, if you will, the blacksmithing stuff, like the hook classes are very popular, making bottle openers, fire pokers, steak flippers, and we're gonna be offering some new classes coming up soon too. So.
How often are you going to offer these classes with the school year back?
Yeah, well, it's warm right now, so I try not to do any more than 3 hours at a time.
Right.
But come August, or excuse me, not August, October, we'll probably go back into a full schedule where we'll be teaching probably about 4 nights a week, and then usually I do like a 3 or 6 hour class on Friday afternoons, and then usually 6 hours on Saturday. And then we've got another location we're opening up as well.
Yes, tell me about
Yeah,
that.
so the new location, it is going to be in addition to the current one in Daphne. It's going to be at 10700 Old Highway 31 in Spanish Fort.
Okay.
It's going to be a little bit of a smaller setup, but it's a little bit of a different draw too. And that is I've already reached out to a lot of the visitor centers locally and trying to really kind of draw in some of the beach traffic. For just what I'm going to call mini experiences. So maybe you want to try it, you know, come maybe for an hour, or I have something for you, or as well as, you know, just a regular class as well. So that'd be during Monday through Friday, and anyone's welcome to come. This is not just for beach traffic. I like to try to do like an after school thing as well, but again, just once it cools down.
Once it cools down.
Yeah, it gets a little hot right
It's
now.
not hot in here at all right now. I'm not sweating.
I know. I'm not sweating at all. So anyway, we're ready to float away. But yeah.
Where is it located? Because 31's...
Yeah, 31's and I always joke. Old Highway 31 is it's a great road if you're looking to hide a body or something. Anyway, I should say. But anyway, so if you go down when you get to 31,
Yes.
Coming down from
181?
181, yeah. So you're going to actually head east. So
Okay.
you're taking a right towards you're right at that intersection where Thompson Caterpillar
Yes.
dealership is there. As you go down on the left-hand side, you've got, I forgot the name of the school there, but you've got
Rockwell?
Spanish Rockwell. Yes, Rockwell's on your left, and then just a little bit past that on your right-hand side, there's a Assembly of God Church, I believe it is. That's Old Highway 31.
Okay.
So we'll be sitting right back down. It actually is where the apartment. We're literally right behind the apartment complexes where the mall's at. over
Okay.
there, so.
Okay. Know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, count us in. After football season's over,
Yeah.
wrestling, I definitely want to come and take a class
That'd be fun.
from you.
Yeah.
And I've really enjoyed getting to talk to you and getting to know you.
Absolutely.
Before we even started the interview, is there anything else that you want to tell everybody about your business, about the Blacksmith Experience? Because what I do is after the interview, I put all of your social media.
Okay.
I put it all on Facebook. It's all connected back to your website, and
Yeah.
then it connects back to my website. So if you have any promotions that you're doing, any classes, when you update it, then it will be sent out to everybody. So it's just
Yeah.
another way that you can get the word out.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Is there any?
Yeah, I guess my final. I'm just kind of asking for help, especially on the nonprofit side.
Yes.
The 4 Forge and Fire folks are coming. One is coming from Tennessee, and they're all coming from a ways away. So one of the things that I'm going to be asking for, if there's a business that may want to sponsor those particular individuals, they're all amazing, not just craftsmen, but just people. And so I'm just trying to make sure that they're able to come and not have to pay out of pocket. So they've got the travel expenses. We're going to have at least expenses for 2 nights of hotels for the majority of them. And so there's going to be some dollars associated. And so I'm just looking for people that might be like, hey, you know what, that would be something I'd be interested. And then and also that would include some special time with that particular individual one-on-one to get a chance to get to meet that Forge of Fire winner as well. So
what would be the best way for everybody to contact you?
Yeah. So a great way is if you visit our website, just www.theblacksmithexperience.com. There's a place to put in some contact information. I also have got my cell number. It's a weird number. It's an old number. I probably need to change it to a 251.
What area code is that?
It's an old Pittsburgh number. It's like when you get stuck with an old number and then you just like I've had that number for probably 15 years, and
it's hard
it's
to
break away from an old phone number. But I need to do it. But so that kind of weirds people out. I think sometimes like, who am I talking to? So like Pittsburgh, but I'm not from Pittsburgh. So full disclosure, I just happen to live there for a while. But yeah, so yeah, they can call me on the cell or text, and those are great ways to stay in touch and be able to answer and talk through anything that you might have questions on. So.
Okay, thank you. And I don't think before we get finished with this interview, his current location is very easy to get to. It's off Austin Road, Bell Forest area. Easiest way would be to go south on 181, take a left on 64. Sometimes I'm directionally challenged. And then you would take a right on Austin Road, and it's not that much further up on your left. So that's his current location. I'll also put that on the website, and then we'll also put your new location as well.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for letting me meet with you.
Yep. And
as always, we always want to support our local community. And if you want me to interview you, just let me know. You can reach me at 251-259-1653. Thank you so much.